Hi, Ronald. This is Doug Bennett, juror at the 2019 Texas Summerfest Print Competition. Here to provide you a critique and some thoughts on your image entitled Standing Out in a Crowd, in which you scored an 81, getting this image into the merit collection. So, congratulations for that. Beautiful image. I do recall being on the panel on this one. I don't recall it being discussed or challenged, but certainly worthy of that merit score. The things that stand out about this image is how you have a really good separation of this fellow standing out from the background here. That just really draws the eye in on that, makes it work great. A few suggestions that I think could maybe help this image a little bit. First off, right here, the crop line is right on the border of this bird's neck. I think moving the crop out just a little bit, maybe that far, would be enough if the original image provides the opportunity to do that. Because right here we got just this line skimming the side of his neck, and it becomes one of those things: is, well, is it in or is it out? So either cropping in more, which I don't think I would do, but crop further to the left to give some breathing space there, I think would help that. The only other real thing that I would recommend to you, I think would make this image pop even more, is to darken your mats here. Right now the tonality is very close to what we're seeing in the greens here, but there's some greens here that are obviously darker than this. Generally, you want those mats to be darker, quite a bit darker, and when that happens, it makes the lighter areas of the image pop out even more. It's kind of what's known as a counter shading effect. The one way to make something look brighter is to put it next to something darker. And so making these mats would certainly do that and make the beautiful color of this bird just pop out all the more, and the plumage that we've got going on here pop out even more. So I think it would just really drive the impact of your image even stronger. In fact, I'd love to see this image in IPC with those darker mats. And once you darken those mats, then I would take a look at your keystroke lines here. As I've noted before with some of your work, I love the thin, narrow lines, stroke lines that you've got here. I think that's perfect. But once you darken the green here and in your inner mat here, it might be that these lines are becoming a little too bright, a little too saturated. I like the fact that the color here seems to come from the color we see in the neck of the bird. I think that's perfect. But just don't let those lines get too bright or a little bit too much saturation. And then I think this image is really going to pop and really do well, particularly if you have the opportunity to put a little more breathing space here, as we talked before. So, my congrats again on that score of 81. A beautiful image here, nice capture. I love how you got him sharply, and throwing the background a little bit out of focus is, I think, just to a perfect degree here. We can still see that he is standing out amongst the crowd. If you got this too much more out of focus, I think it would have detracted from the image. But as it is, it gives great separation. Really helps this fellow stand out. The only other thing that you might consider is flipping this image horizontally so that the bird is over here looking more towards this direction. And that kind of comes from the fact that we view images kind of coming in from the top, from the left down to the right. Right now, then that with the eye coming in that way, we would tend to see him and he's looking back to the left, which keeps the eye from flowing out of the image. And as you can see, you've got more space here than what you have over here. By flipping the image, the eye travels more across the scene in a natural flow, picks him up, and his gaze is directing us back into the scene. In fact, it might even help this situation work out a little bit better where you don't have much breathing space. If that was over on this side after flipping the image, it wouldn't become quite the distraction. This is what we see as we kind of pretty much first enter the image with our eye. So with those changes, I think this image could beat that 81 score. I know I would certainly be placing a higher score on it. So again, my congrats for a great capture and a nice score.